Inniswell Ministries International presents. Let's talk about it. Okay, young people, I haven't done a video for you all in a long time because I kept forgetting to load you up in the afternoon. So I'm going to try to do better with that. And so this is the Halloween season, and I want to talk to you about these are pagan holidays, and I I celebrated when I was little. I don't judge people for celebrating. But what I want you to know is that, so we have Mischief Night and Halloween. We have All Saints Day, and then we have Day of the Dead. And so Halloween, I'm not sure how Halloween got started. It's actually called Samhain. It's not spelled that way, but that's how it's pronounced. And Samhain is a pagan celebration, and I think it started out that people were being oppressed, demonically oppressed, and so they would wear costumes to fool the spirit or whatever. I'm not positive. And so we have that. So we have Samhain, which is a pagan celebration. And then we have the Day of the Dead. No, we have All Saints Day. And so All Saints Day is a celebration of the dead. Some Christians celebrate All Saints Day, and that's November 1st. And that's a celebration of the dead. And then in some of our Latin American countries, they celebrate Días de los Muertos, Días de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. And so I think this is the one that I want to kind of focus on, because just how it's celebrated, it goes against how we worship. And so they celebrate with an altar to their relatives. Now they go out to the cemetery. Now, going out to the cemetery, putting flowers on your loved one's grave, I don't consider that an act of worship. I consider that an act of remembrance, but it's the whole celebration altogether. And so, first of all, the only one that gets an altar in Christianity is God. And we don't make a physical altar. It's a spiritual altar. So whenever if you make an altar to your dead relatives, you're putting them up there, right up there with God. You're venerating them right up there with God, or somewhere near. Like God says, there's no gods around me. In front of me, behind me, next to me, there's no other gods. And so we can't venerate our ancestors in that way. We can love them and we can remember them. We can put flowers on their grave. We can't make an altar and worship them. And so, yeah. And there's a lot of this now, like Disney has that El Encanto, I think it is, that shows like a lot of that. And there's a lot of skulls and, just the whole thing, it just is not. There's some things that we shouldn't take a part in, and that's one of them. So I know that, in the name of inclusion, that people will include that kind of celebration. But just remember, like, you can't make an altar to the ancestors. You can't. You don't do that. Like, that's not acceptable to God. And so just remember that when people are trying to be inclusive, it's not that you want to push like away other people's stuff or that you think you're better. It's just that our God don't appreciate us venerating our ancestors. And so we don't do that. We don't build altars only to him. And that altar is a spiritual altar, not a physical altar. All right. So, you know, we're supposed to be separate and holy. We're not supposed to be chasing after what the pagans do. All right, well, sorry to bust your bubble for Day of the Dead celebration, but so that's November 2nd. This really is not our time of year. But yeah, this really isn't our time of year. Join us again next time when Innis Will Ministries International presents Let's Talk About It. Until then, bye.